I can begin again. Come on, one more time. I can begin again. I want to thank you all for being here tonight, our online and streaming audience. Thank you all for so much for tuning in tonight. I just want to spend a few minutes with you. I'm Dr. Ray Johnson. I'm Chancellor and Provost President here at Begin Again University. And this is a much needed opportunity to be able to help you start over afresh right from where you are in life. So many times and so many things in our world today really kind of prevent us and keep us from the opportunity of having a moment where we can feel like we can start over. But tonight, I kind of want to spend a few minutes reminding us that you can begin again and starting right from where you are, no matter what's happening, taking place in your life. No matter if there's been a divorce that's happened or taken place, if there's been a loss of business, a loss of income, no matter what it is, you can begin to start over in your life. No matter if you've had a parent that has been lost to you or someone that's disconnected away from you, the most important thing to remember is that in all that you may have lost, you still have you. Somebody say this with me. I can begin again. And we're going to say that all throughout the night tonight. And so as we begin to say that all throughout the night, here is a couple of things I want to make sure that you are able to pipe into. So one of the things I want you to be clear that you can say with me in terms of you being able to begin again is just simply this. I'm going to say you can do it, and then you're going to say, yes, coach, I can begin again. Okay? So I'm going to say you can do it, and then you're going to say, yes, coach, I can begin again. Let's try that together. You can do it.
Yes, coach, I can begin again.
Come on, let's try that one more time. You can do it.
Yes, coach, I can begin again.
So I want you to understand that for those of you who are normally used to attending me here at the Walk of Dominion here at Dominion Outreach Worship Center, this is not church. This is going to be completely and totally different from the times when we gather together for moments of church. I want you to understand that this is our leadership development and coaching platform where we're taking time to actually help walk with people to help them start over in varying areas of their lives. And so as we do that, I want to just spend a few minutes just kind of talking about what Begin Again is really all about. So if you can see right there on the first screen, what we're really kind of getting involved in and really talking about tonight. Go ahead on and just slide through that first one for me. Nate, right there, and then I'll catch up with you as we're going along right here on tonight. I'm moving around just a little bit. So many of you may be familiar with me and my wife with second time around. And you may be familiar with us with our Begin Again podcast. And what that is that we were having a much needed conversation of what we say necessary endings, but also new beginnings, which is critically important because you know, I've really come to an understanding that there are some relationships that are not going to make it for the long haul. And then there are some things in regards to the toxicity level that happens where there's domestic violence, and then there are moments where people kind of misuse and misabuse each other, where sometimes relationships need to come apart, and they don't necessarily need to stay together. And so it's important in the middle of all of those that we really look at how do we develop relationships of purpose and destiny. And so we began that podcast starting out with You Can Begin Again. Go ahead to that next slide for me. And let me just look at that one real quickly. That next one, and so many people may not realize that I really am a certified leadership development and a relationship coach. And so I spent some time being trained by my good friend, as you can see, Glenn and Cherie Brooks of Marriage and Parenting Successfully. The way that I made it through my own experience was that I had someone who actually took time to sit and talk with me to help me evolve and develop. And so in the evolving and in the developing, that was critically important for me in order to be able to get from one place to the next in my own life. Go ahead to that next one for me real quickly, that next one. And so many people may think that, you know, a lot of my educational experience comes from and develops my coaching background and ability. And really, so I do have a doctorate in leadership and theology from Fuller Theological Seminary, 3 master's degrees that are all earned, MBA, and MDiv, and a master's of arts and a master of arts in public policy and in law, all from Regent University, and then a Bachelor of Arts in both business and economics from the University of Maine, and then also being able to right now, go into that next slide, I'm working on a second doctorate. I'm a glutton for punishment. I'm working right now through Bangor University in the United Kingdom in Wales, and so I'm spending some time doing that as well too, because I really do believe what I say and mean what I say when I say that you can begin again. Can you say that with me one more time? You can begin again.
You can.
Y'all are not here yet. Come on. Come on. So say yes, coach.
Yes, coach.
I can begin again.
Yes.
Let's try it again. You can begin again.
Yes,
Coach.
I can begin again.
Let's try it one more time. You can begin again.
Yes, coach. I can begin again.
Somebody online just type that in real quickly. I can begin again. And so I want you to know that part of what you see me doing is really all centered around the opportunity to really believe that you can start again right from where you are, and really take the opportunity to really look at how you can start life over in all the different areas of your life. Go into that next one. So why enroll? Let's back. Is that the first one? Or was that the second one? Let's start right there. Why enroll at Begin Again University? And so I say mentoring is one reason why you should enroll. Another reason is modeling, mind molding, and which is the most important one, and then really the motivation to begin. The greatest one, I think, is mind molding. That's the greatest one. Because a lot of times it becomes difficult for us to really look at how do we start over in varying areas of our lives. You can have the capacity to want to do something. You could have the understanding to want to do something. You could have even the willpower to want to do something, but if your mind ain't right. It's so important that your mind really plays a key role in what it is that you do or what it is that you don't do and how you get started in various areas of your life. And so with Begin Again University, I'm just going to take the time to help you work on ensuring that your mind comes to a place where your mind doesn't play tricks on you. How many of you have been through some experiences where you could say, my mind indeed has played some tricks on me? How many of you would agree with me and say that? Put that inside of the chat if you're watching and if you're listening tonight, if you could agree that there are some things that you've experienced in your life where your mind has just played some tricks on you. And it's gotten the best of you. And it's really not so much anybody else other than it's just you. So I want to help you navigate through that and walk through that. Is that all right? Go ahead to that next one real quick for me. Let me see what we have on that one. Was my iPad decided it wants to do its own thing tonight. So yeah, leadership and organizational development. I call this one, I like the second one, relationship readiness. And I call that one repair and renewal. So some relationships need to go through a moment where they come back together. Things inside of each individual need to be repaired. All of us have had some moments where we've had brokenness before, haven't we? Yeah, we've had some moments where we've had some brokenness before. And so then there is, I like this last one, the specialized coaching and mentorship through my proprietary coaching model, which is 3 quarters throughout the year. So I'm going to spend some time walking with you and talking with you in all 3 quarters of the year to help you develop and to help you grow in varying areas of your life. Is that all right? Somebody say, you can begin again.
You can begin again.
Say, yes, coach.
Yes, coach.
I can
Begin
again.
Begin again.
How many of you got some areas in your life where you know good and well you need to start again in? Yeah, you got some areas where I just, you know what, I got to start over. That didn't work out quite the way that I thought it was going to work out. I got to start over. I got to do it again. It's not really working the way that I anticipated. And it is okay to be in those kind of scenarios and in those kind of situations. Whenever you find yourself in those kind of moments, it's important not to give up, give in, nor give out, but to just begin to think critically of how you're going to start over. So that's spiritual, relational, and leadership intelligence. I'm going to help you increase capacity to be able to do what it is that you think and you believe yourself that you want to do. Go ahead to that next one for me real quickly. And so here's my real coaching experience. Yeah, the degrees are good. Yeah, all that's fine and lovely and wonderful. But the real coaching experience for me is coming in the critical areas of these that you see right on the screen before you. I'm a father of 4 girls. Now, I heard one person say, oh. Ain't too many parents in the room. Anybody that is parenting young people in today's age and you're making it through, you ought to give yourselves a hand for that right there. Yeah. You ought to give yourselves a hand. I got one person in there. So I'm a dad to 4 girls. They range between 27 and 20 years old. My oldest girl is actually graduated in 3 weeks from Pace University. My second girl is graduating from undergraduate school at Clark Atlanta University. And then my third girl is graduating from, third girl is starting right now in her second year at Liberty. And the fourth girl is a freshman at not Radford, but George Mason. And so one of the things that I did with them and helping them to develop was I started talking to them real young when they were 3 and 4 and 5 years old. And I started saying to them, college is not necessarily about being smart. College is about discipline. Yeah. And I started getting that worked inside of them early on with it being about discipline and structure in their lives. Now, they hated it when I was giving them discipline and structure in their lives when they were young. But now that they've gotten older, they kind of went, Dad kind of know what he's talking about a little bit. So that's a little bit of my coaching experience. And then I have 3 more. I'm a bonus dad to 3 more, 2 boys and 1 girl. My bonus daughter, not here tonight, but my oldest bonus son is here tonight. He's the one that's working the screen inside here. And just by way of, not that everybody in TV land can see this, but the gentleman to your right, Nate, happens to be a basketball legend from my high school, a few years ahead of me. And so if you had to kind of rank them now, people that are watching me online, let me just say this real quickly. Rodney Burley, if you see this, don't get upset with me. Ronald Barrett, if you see this, don't get upset with me. Curtis Burley, if you see this, don't get upset with me. Chris Jackson, Corey Stewart, Kid Johnson, don't get upset with me. But at Bethel High School, we would probably rank them like this. We would probably say Allen Iverson, number 1, and then Theodore Johnson, number 2. And he's here tonight. Come on, give him a round of applause. Yeah. And so, he was a sweet shooter, all of that. You got to talk to him through the break. And then I'm a husband. And so I've survived, experienced divorce, been able to remarry again. And I'm telling you, some of the darkest days in my life. And the only way that I made it was I had to say to myself, I can begin again. I can make it. I can do it. Let me just say to somebody real quickly. You can begin again. Somebody say, yes, coach. Yes, coach. I can begin again. I got 17 years of pastoral ministry, 22 years of full-time ministry. This is my 23rd year this year in terms of being able to pastor and be able to lead in the times in which I'm in. And so I'm a great friend of mine who is here. Is it fullness of life or fruitful? Freedom to Live Ministries from Atlanta, Georgia. Our guest and my co-host for tomorrow night, Kelly Jennings, and then her husband, the pastor, great friend of mine. We probably 30, 35 years in the game now, friendship. And he drove her all the way up, Rick. Come on, just clap your hands. Started 2 different business entities in addition to the church. So there's a lot that's been going on and taking place in my own life. And so I'm glad to be able to bring some of that real kind of coaching experience to bear, if you will. And so I was a high school athlete and college athlete right there at Bethel High School. And then I was also, going to those next 2 slides, I was a high school Bible teacher. And when I was a high school Bible teacher, one of the things that I happened to do was I happened to be able to coach the varsity girls basketball team. And so if you ask me where my real coaching experience comes from, I would say fathering. I would say being a husband. I wouldn't even put pastoring in there, but yeah, we do some coaching in terms of pastoring. And then I would say my real deal coaching experience really comes from coaching my high school girls basketball team. I served over at Calvary Christian Academy in Norfolk, Virginia. When I took over the program at that time was really almost non-existent. And the girls program was really almost non-existent. And what ended up happening is my first year, I started to assist the head coach that was there, and the girls had never won anything substantial. I don't think they had more than 5 or 6 wins. And so I started out as the assistant coach. In my first year as an assistant coach, we ended up being something like 2-19. And then all of a sudden, I decided to implement some of the systems of the issue here that I learned from Fendolf Taylor and Coach Bailey. You know, back in the day, we played ball sun up, sun down, around the clock, and there were no moments where we took time off. We actually ended up getting engaged with each other. Go back one screen for me, Nate. So here's what I want people to understand. Before they see that one, just stay right there for a second. That first year, we ended up going 4-19 or 2-19. Immediately when the season was over, Pastor Jennings, I treated the program like a college program. The girls, they all hated me. I got on their nerves. I put them in spring ball. The season ended in February. I said on April the 2nd, we are going to be in the gym together and we're going to get ready for summer league. And before we get ready for summer league, we're going to get ready for spring league. And so we started practicing in April. After school, 3:30, the girls had the gym. It was just me and them. The head coach was leaving, going to another school, another program. And so I started coaching them. You talking about running, lifting weights, did team building exercises. When we got the spring ball, they still hadn't really grasped the understanding of it yet. And in spring ball, we only had 8 games. We lost all 8 of them. They were really dejected, really upset. And I said, if you stay with me, I bet you that you will become as good as you want to be in every area if you just work with me and I'll work with you. And so at that time, I had 2 girls. I'm sure they're watching online. A few of them, Candace, Holly, is watching online. I'll tell you where they went to school in just a few minutes. But we started from spring. At the end of spring ball, we went straight into the summer league. I put them in the toughest summer league in Hampton Roads. And at that time, you had 2. Now, during our day, the summer league would be at Hampton High School here on the peninsula. But over in Norfolk is the Booker T Summer League, Booker T Washington High School. And that's where the Pro-Am tournaments and things will be played at. I put them into that summer league. Granby beat us by 30. Lake Taylor beat us by 40. Princess Anne, I'm ashamed to say, beat us by 60 points. So you gotta understand, Princess Anne in our area, they are the top school in our area. They beat us by a legitimate 60 points. My 2 guards, my starting point guard, a rising senior, Jessica White, and then my 2 guard, my shooting guard, Whitney, was so dejected on the bench. And they kept looking in my eyes like, what are we doing? I said, don't worry about it. We're going to get there. Summer league ended in July. I said, you got 2 weeks off. We would practice before games, have the game, practice after the game. And then after that, I said, you got 2 weeks off. And in 2 weeks, we're going to Lake Erie, Pennsylvania. And it's going to be me and you for 2 weeks. And we practice in 3 times a day. And then on the 4th time, we'll actually play in a tournament from independent league schools from around the country. Let me give you an idea of only 3 schools from Virginia could get in. Flint Hill, Oak Hill, Calvary Christian Academy. And so all of a sudden, we're there, we're in the tournament, we're getting killed. I mean, just murdered. We come back, it's August. And so I said, you got the month off, and then when September comes, everybody is running cross country. Everybody, I'm talking about, they were upset with me. We're talking about girls. So we're talking about hair, nails, makeup. Everybody is upset. On the first day of practice in fall league, I said, this is the kind of team we're going to be. We're going to be agile, we're going to be hostile, and we're going to be mobile. I said, we're going to be agile. Somebody who's watching tonight, type that in the chat. We're going to be agile, we're going to be hostile, and we're going to be a mobile team. Meaning that we're going to be quick and be able to move and pivot in and out no matter what situation we find ourselves in. And then we're going to be the kind of team that we're going to be so mobile that any one of the first 5 can play all 5 positions. So yeah, my little 5'3" point guard, if I needed her to go down low, she had to go down near the basket area on our 1-3-1 full court press, and she had to be the last line of defense. I'll tell you why that she was in just a few minutes. All of a sudden, we get through fall league. It's the first game of the season. And in the first game of the season, we're playing James River Academy, right over in Smithfield. They were the team last year that beat us by close to 60 points, just like Princess Anne. We had them on the schedule. Now, what they don't know still to this day that they're finding out right now as they're watching the stream, I scheduled that game because I wanted them first. Because what I understood was that if we were going to get through the mental blockage of losing, we had to cut the head off of the snake. And we couldn't wait until the mid part of the season if we were going to do something. We're talking about a team that went 4-19 or 2-19 or 1-20 over the last 2 years. And I said, if we really going to be who we are, we got to cut the head off of the snake early. And so in that game, all of a sudden, I'm just like any other coach. I'm pacing up back and forth down on the sideline. I'm losing it. I'm going crazy because within the first 7 minutes, it is 16-4. We're losing. I called a timeout. I stood in front of the bench. I didn't say a word. I stood there and I sat right there. We're losing 16-4. 16-4. And I sat them down and I just looked at everybody in the eye. And I said, guess what? I bet you they didn't go to spring ball practice. I bet you they didn't have spring league. I bet you they didn't play summer league. I bet you they didn't play summer league and didn't have 3 practices a day. I bet you they didn't gather together and go to camp. I was saying to them that you gave up your whole summer and you're losing 16-4. I just stood there. And one young lady, never forget it, her nickname was Kool-Aid. Sister and Brother Jennings, y'all might remember her. This is Candace Holly. Candace turns around. She's not even in the game. She was my defensive stopper. She looks up at me. She says, Coach, we're agile, hostile, and mobile. I said, what kind of team are we? She said, we're agile, hostile, and mobile. I said, what kind of team are we? Then my little 5'3" point guard, Jessica White, she goes, we're agile, hostile, and mobile. I said, really, what kind of team are we? I got to do this in 45 seconds because they got to get back there and get in the game. I said, what kind of team are we? My 6'1", she won't say she's 6'1", but my 6'1" sophomore starting center, Aaron Britt, goes, we worked too hard. We put too much time in. I didn't give up my whole summer for this. We are agile, hostile, and mobile. Matter of fact, this is exactly what she said. The next time she go by you, let her come around the corner. I'm going to be right there. We come out of the timeout. This little point guard crosses my point guard up, drives around her. Aaron Britt comes and knocks that girl out of the air. We get a technical foul, but my entire bench stands up. Everybody goes crazy. By the time we get to the second half, Debbie, the score is 50-20. We up by 30 points. Wow. Because they begin to believe. By the time that particular game was over with, we finished that game. We beat them 70-35. And then we went 17-0, undefeated regular season champions for the rest of the season. Somebody put some hearts and thumbs up and clap your hands right there for that. That's all of that had to do with mindset. It had to do with mindset. And so when I said, let's schedule this team early on and let's cut off the head of the snake early, from that moment forward, they believed. The key ingredient for you to begin again in your life is believing. Can I suggest to you that perhaps, maybe you could be your own problem? Can I suggest that to you, that maybe it could be you, that you are your own problem and that you haven't learned how to get out of your own way? that really beginning again has everything to do with you in terms of your ability to start right from where you are and being able to get right out of your own way. Go ahead to that next screen. I'm going to catch up with you in terms of this presentation in a minute. So many of you are asking yourself in terms of the state of your life, why did this choose me? Why am I here? Why have I ended up in a situation like this? Wrong question. Really, the right question should be, I get a chance to end up right. I get a chance to do this. I get a chance to be right where I am at this point in this area of my life. Come on, let's go next screen. We're going to ride and roll now. So tonight I want to talk to you a little bit for about the next 10 to 15 minutes or so, and then we're landing the plane. We're going to take a break tonight. I want to talk to you a little bit from this subject. How is destiny shaping us as leaders? See, for those girls who are on my basketball team, some of them had never played before. Some of them have never been engaged before. And what I kept saying to them is that it's your destiny to be a champion. That it's your destiny to win. And what I want to ask you, have you figured out what your own destiny is? About why, and really what I mean by that, when I ask the question, who am I, about why you're on the planet? How did I get here? Have you started to ask yourself, because for most of us who are looking at beginning again in our lives now, this also can apply to 18 to 35, but I'm really honing in and talking on people from 40 to 60, 40 to 70. Because your window is short, your time is short, and you've got to be intentional and intense about living out your purpose for about why you're here. Go ahead on to that next one for me. So look at this. Here's what is interesting about this, about being a destiny leader. A destiny leader, let me just come right on down. Matter of fact, I might as well teach me. A destiny leader is a person with a specific giving capacity and destined given responsibility who is influencing a specific group of people. A destiny leader is somebody who has a given, specific, intentional, I'll go back up there just a second, intentional, purposeful responsibility that influence a specific group of people. For me as a coach, when I coached my girls' basketball team, it was really about beginning to show some of those girls the opportunity to be able to be better than they thought that they were. And many of them today, now let me give you the second half of the story. Jessica White went on and graduated and went to Elizabeth City. She scored 45 points in the playoff game. Still today holds the school record. A girl, not even, and I'm saying it on string so that they can hear me, not even Calvin James, but Jessica White is the top leading scorer in Calvary Christian School history. Cassidy Cannon went on to Elizabeth City and played. Aaron Britt went on to St. Benedict's College and played. Some of those girls on those teams went on to Division II, Division III, NAIA college scholarships, all because of the time that they spent together. They felt it was their destiny to do so. So look at this. The shaping of a leader. Leadership is a lifetime process to which destined moments intervene throughout in crucial ways to shape the leader towards his or her purposes for being a leader. Let me unpack that just for a minute. What I'm saying to you tonight is that each and every one of you are leaders in your own right. Right where you are, you're a leader in your own right. As a mom, you're a leader. As a dad, you're a leader. As an employee, you're a leader. As a son, a daughter, a niece, nephew, cousin, you're a leader. No matter what your profession is or no matter what your position is in life, you are leading. And what I want you to understand is that there are life moments that happen to you that shape you, listen to this, for the purposes of your destiny. There are specific moments and encounters of destiny in time that happen to you to shape you. Go ahead to the next screen for me. The key point is that the moment that happens is for you. It's not about what someone did to you. It's not about what someone said to you. It's not about what someone's opinion is of what is taking place for you. The key issue is the moment that has happened and taken place in your life is for you. And what really matters, jot this down in your notes real quick, what really matters is how you respond. That's what matters, how you respond. How you respond to The difficult moments of your life determines if you live out your destiny or not. Let me say that one more time. How you respond to the difficult moments of your life determine how you live out your destiny. If your response is wrong, or let me say it this way, if your response is self-consumed or self-absorbed, you begin to reduce the chances of having an opportunity to be able to live out why you're created. So I want you to just open your folder. Those of you who may be watching me online, here's what I want you to do. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to just write those questions down. Back up one slide for me. If you can back up one slide for me. Go one more, or go forward, go back up one more. Yeah. Yeah. Back up one more. Yeah, I want you to write these 3 questions down. How is a destiny moment, or just write the question this way, and those of you online watching, how am I being shaped by my experiences? How am I being shaped by my experiences? How am I being shaped? Number 2, I want you to write down, how do I respond? And then add to that, how have I responded? How do I respond, and how have I responded? The answers to those questions determine who you are. Let me jump back in real quickly to my high school girls varsity basketball team. These were girls who were of a particular persuasion, and I might as well go there. They were all black girls. They were all black girls, from the inner city. And we were playing a particular school, I'll leave the school nameless, and we were playing some country club girls, I might as well say. They were all white girls, okay? They were from an affluent background, okay? So not everybody of a particular race, creed, or color their socioeconomic status varies. But in this case, we were playing, let's just say, affluent versus non-affluent. In the middle of the game, because my team was agile, hostile, and mobile, we were getting called for every ticky-tack foul that was being committed. They were not allowing us to play our style of basketball. So I had to switch up in the middle of the game. Write this word down, pivot. Pivot. Rather than being on the sideline, going back and down. Now, normally my temperament is to fuss and yell at the referees. And while I was fussing and yelling at the refs, let my girls play, it dawned on me I'm hurting them because I'm getting a technical, and the opposing team is getting 3 shots with no defense. So then the thought came to me, you're going to have to do something different. So in the middle of that moment, when I decided to do something different, I changed the scheme of the game. So instead of playing my short girls, I had one named Mighty Mouse and one Mighty Mouse Jr. Jessica White, 5'3", Unica was 5'1". They were my speedy point guards. Nobody could get the ball past half court. So I put my power forward, Brittany Burridge. She could handle the ball well, I put her as my point guard, and then I brought in the babies. The babies were the 6'1", and 6'2". I had one that was 6 feet, Aaron Britt, 6'1", 6'2", freshman. I brought those 2 girls in, so now we're playing big ball. So I said, this is what we're going to do. I sure did. The men are going to laugh. The old guy, well, at least Pastor Jennings and Theodore Johnson and Mike, they're going to laugh at when I say this. I developed a play, and I called it Stockton and Malone. Y'all remember that, don't you? Sure did. All that is the little girl sets up the screen for the big girl. The big girl sets the screen for the little girl. She run around it. The other one rolls to the basket, and you dump it right in. But I was running it with 5'9", Brittany Burridge and 6'2", Emily Johnson. And all of a sudden, the game got out of hand because now that we weren't playing real fast, we were playing slow. And I just kept throwing it inside and throwing it inside. And we won. Here's the point about that. The point about that is this, that when life happens to you that is unfair, your response to what happens to you determines what it is that you're going to be able to do. Keep in mind, I said, for destiny leaders, for people who have a specific destiny in their lives, if life doesn't happen to you, if chaos doesn't happen to you, if calamity doesn't happen to you, if confusion doesn't happen to you, I've got to wonder if you're really a destined leader or not. Because anybody that ever had any kind of difficulty happen to them, the greater the platform that they're going to ascend to, the more, if I was on Sunday, I would say that not heaven they're going to experience. That's just how that works. Come on, next two screens. We got to move quickly. Next two screens. Skip that. Yeah, hold right here. Let's back up. So when viewed from a lifelong perspective, destiny moments intervene or shaping is intentional. It's processing develops the leader's capacity. It determines and develops how the leader operates and realizes the potential and their giftedness. In other words, what's happening is when crisis moments happen to you, the crisis moments are designed to reveal to you who you are. I got to say that one more time. The crisis moments that happen to you, they are designed to reveal to you who you are. Let me just stop right here and say this. You can begin again. Somebody say, yes, coach.
Yes, coach.
I can begin again. No matter if it's divorce that happened to you, no matter if your father left you, if your mother left you, if you lost a job, if you went through bankruptcy, if it was a sickness and disease, if somebody walked away from you, if they're talking about you on your job, if your family don't like you, you can begin again. Somebody say, yes, coach.
Yes, coach.
I can begin again.
I
I wanted you to get in your mind's eye right now of the areas you got to start over in your life. Because the areas you got to start over in your life if you pivot right and handle them with the right response, they will become the tools that will help you begin to achieve your life purpose for why you're here on the planet. I'm telling you, it's really that simple. Come on, let's go to this next one real quick. Let's go to this next one. So you've got different variables of leadership emergence that happen. Go ahead to the next one. Go ahead to the next one. Go to the next one. Just hit them until all of them flow right on in. All of them flow right on in. All of them flow right on in. Yep, I think that should be it right there. So what I want you to understand is that this, what you're looking at on the screen right here, for those of you, you may want to take the camera or maybe give them the side view so that they can see this real quickly. So variables of leadership emergence is this. There is no consistent or fixed pattern of variables that exist, and things are driven by context, by personhood, and by destiny. The only thing that is fixed is that there is a process. So when you start to think about these different variables here, time is a variable that happens, your personhood is a variable that happens, context is a variable that happens in your life. Those three, right? The only thing that is consistent is a process that will happen by the event that takes place in your life. Now, this formula down here at the bottom literally talks about the process of how leaders are developed. So let me unpack this real quick. Leaders are developed in this sense by time times process plus response. Leaders are developed by time times process plus response. Somebody put that in the chat with me. Leaders are developed by time process plus response. So the number of times that you have to go through a situation, let me just put it in a relationship context real quick. For some people in relationship context, you can date somebody in one season, the relationship go bad, and then move to matter of fact, I'm gonna make it extreme, move to a different coast. An East Coast person from Atlanta can move to Los Angeles and end up dating the same person because of process and response. Because of process and response. If you don't if you don't take time to look at your response of how you are responding to the impact of your life, it will extend time for you and then will delay the development of you as a leader. It will delay the development of you as a woman. It will delay the development of you as a man. Anybody know somebody that's 40, 50, and 60, but they think like they're 16? It's because their response to what happened to them, they did not process well. Some people can be 25, but still 13 years old. They're stuck right at the moment of what happened to them. And when you get stuck at the moment of what happened to you, time keeps on going, but you keep going through the process. If you're going to be a destined leader in your life. Am I making sense? Come on, somebody say, I can begin again. Close your eyes with me real quick. We got 5 minutes. Close your eyes with me real quick. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. I think we probably got 10 minutes. Close your eyes. I want you to go right to the place of one of the most traumatic moments that ever happened in your life. I want you to go there real quick. Just go there real fast. I want you to feel the room. Smell the air. Come on, those of you who are watching online, you still looking at me and you ain't closed your eyes. The stream ain't going nowhere. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. I want you to feel the room. I want you to smell the air. I want you to imagine the impact of what took place that happened to you in that moment. I want you to see it in your mind's eye. Now, I want you to think about what was the very first thing you did and then the very last thing you did. Now I want you to open your eyes. How many of you that was tough for you to do? Just by raising your hand. How many of you that was tough? I got 2, 3 people that's honest. The rest of y'all, we upstairs, we're not in the sanctuary, so I'll be chill. The reason why I said think about that moment is because now I want you to think about the time gap. I want you to think about the time gap. For whatever it is that you have let it go, moved on, gotten through it, healed, gotten better, all of that was dependent on your response. All of that was dependent on your response. Some stuff you could have come out of quicker if your response was right. You would have shortened the amount of time. So when we start talking about the variables of leadership emergence, we're talking, there's time analysis, there's processing, there's response, there's a blend that happens, there's focus, there's an anticipation of when, see, the anticipation has to do with this, and I'll teach through this as we get into master classes of this, of moments that happen in your life. Once you understand who a person, place, or thing is, you respond accordingly. Once you determine this person is always going to be negative, this person is always going to be mean, this person is always going to be looking out for themselves, this person is only going to be concerned and self-consumed, you respond accordingly. Listen to this. Without your emotions getting the best of you. See, what happens to lending out the time is when your emotions get the best of you. Come on, go to the next screen. Go to the next screen. Go to the next screen. Next screen, next screen, next screen, next screen, next screen. Go to the next screen. So look at this. Leaders who finish well discipline themselves, look at this, to look at their lives from a big picture, sovereign viewpoint. They live sovereignly, not by situations. Okay, they learn to expect God, if I can use it that way, or destiny to give them destiny experiences, and they look for them. Whatever decision making allows, they move in line with insights related to their life perspective and their destiny experience. In other words, that's a nice way of saying they don't get stuck. They refuse to get stuck. They completely and totally made up their minds, I will not stay right here. Some people, it takes them 3 years to get there. Some people can do it in 2 weeks. You're really mastering the process if you can be able to do it on the spot. And I got 7 minutes and we're going to take a quick break. So I'm going to tell this part of the story here. Go to this next screen real quickly. Yeah. I'm going to ask, I'll get to that question in a moment. Well, let me just do this question now and I can fit the story in. So where are you with your self-definition of defining yourself? Being and doing what God intends for you. What are your values and what's your vision? Being effective in our destined purposes flows out of who we are. And many of us are still striving to be self-defined and not carving copies with a non-anxious presence. That is. So if you don't get nothing else I said, those who watch it online, screenshot this screen right here. This is the one right here. Because a lot of times our response is based upon the fact that we're anxious. We're anxious for the experience to stop. We're anxious for it to be over. We're anxious to get out of this. We're anxious to not go through this again. And I'm not saying to you that you should want to be in trauma and trial. That is not what I'm saying to you. What I'm saying to you is ask yourself the question, what am I learning through this? And how is this shaping me to be who God or my destiny has determined for me to be? Now, I can just hear somebody thinking, I just use my experience. When I went through divorce, and I wasn't a novice young man, I went through it late in life, okay? I had already had influence, impact on my children. Let me just say this. Wasn't due to infidelity. I wasn't violent toward my wife. I wasn't withholding, keeping my money from her. I wasn't neglecting her. Matter of fact, we used to date every Monday. Wasn't neglectful to her. We were headed in two different directions, and our worldviews were diametrically opposed to each other. And the scripture says this, now I choose to live by the scripture, how you choose to live, that's on you. How can two walk together unless they agree? And we had so much disagreement about life. It just couldn't work. And I couldn't believe that me being, let me just go right there, even on the screen. I'm a man of God. I have lived according to the scripture. I walk this out every day. How in the world is this happening to me? I could spend all my time right there. Or I could figure out, what am I supposed to learn from this? What am I supposed to get from this? I know this is not Sunday morning, and I know that this is a leadership coaching platform. Can I just talk to you about what I believe I heard from me, okay, in those difficult moments? What I believe I heard from me, and this is for those who may be believers and even non-believers, just listen to me. I believe heaven was speaking to me because I was fighting for everything I was worth. I was fighting to try to keep it together. I was trying to fight for my reputation. I was trying to fight for the love and affection of my children. I was trying to fight for making sure that this ministry stayed together. I was fighting. Kicking and screaming fighting. Okay? Because I worked too hard. I put too much time in. It cost me too much. And I did things the right way. And I couldn't believe I was in this moment. And heaven starts talking to me going, don't fight this. Don't fight this. Leave this alone. And I'm in those moments and I'm upset. And I remember sitting with a counselor, and the counselor is talking to me and speaking to me and said some things to me that made me really angry. Let me put a pin in that right there. I won't disclose all of that for the purposes of protecting their professional practice. But the things that they say make me angry. If the growth process doesn't make you angry, you're not growing.
Yeah.
If the growth process doesn't make you angry, you're not growing. You're supposed to get to a place, you got to come into some situations and run up against some things that you don't like. And then flip around and ask the question, how is this shaping me? Yeah. How am I being developed? Where am I in this? No, notice what I said, and I said it the way I said it intentionally with those words. Sometimes we can never get to a we because too much I is in the way. Write that down. That right there. That's worth the price of admission in one of the coaching platforms right there. We can never get to a we because there's too much I in the way. If I was on Sunday, I would start to run down the road of idolatry, but I'm not on Sunday. I'll just stay right here. We got 3 minutes left. 3 minutes left. So learning how to define yourself in terms of where you are. If you can get the I out of the way and ask, how is this moment shaping me? Who am I becoming as a result of this? That will help give you an indication in terms of your destiny of where you're going. Keep in mind, I'm saying, don't get stuck right there. I don't know what your there is, but I know you got one. Don't get stuck right there. Don't get stuck at the divorce. Don't get stuck at the high school dropout moment. Don't get stuck at the moment where you may have been incarcerated. Don't get stuck at the moment where you may have lost money. Don't get stuck at the point where you lose the house. Don't get stuck at the place at the ministry. Come on, ministry leaders who listening to me. Don't get mad at COVID because the folk left out of the church. Ask God, how are you shaping me and what do you want me to do next? Because those are the moments that help to determine your destiny about why you're on the planet. Come on, let's go to the next screen for me. Go to the next screen for me. We're almost done. This one here, I'm talking to us tonight about tracking and about our ability to develop. I'm going to stop right here. For those of you who are watching, we're going to take a quick 10-minute break on the stream. Whichever stream you're watching this on, I want you to come right back at 8:30. Right on this very same page, and the stream is going to come right back to you. We're going to do part 2, okay, for those of you who are watching, and I'll spend some more time talking to you about the tracking and formation process. I will stop right here, and we'll pause right here for just a moment. We'll be right back.